and then melt into the mountains. But was incidentally, this time there was also an intelligence alert given that G20 summit is to happen. I'm Gaurav Sawant. I'll get you much more on the story. But first, the headlines. An army vehicle attacked by Jaish-e-Mohammed-backed terrorist outfit in Rajouri. 5 soldiers killed. Army chief briefs the defense minister. All accused, including former Gujarat Minister Maya Kodnani and Babu Bajrangi, acquitted in the Naroda Gam massacre case. 11 people had died in 2002. Major setback for disqualified Congress Member of Parliament Rahul Gandhi in the Modi surname defamation case. Surat court rejects plea for stay on conviction. Upholds 2-year jail term. Congress now to move the High Court. Uttar Pradesh police recreate Atiq Ahmed crime scene in Prayagraj. Narco test of Atiq's killers likely in a big confession. The shooters admit a link to the Bhati gang. Fugitive Khalistan supporter Amritpal Singh's wife stopped at the Amritsar airport. She was en route London. Police say Kirandi barred from flying as a precautionary measure. And our top focus story on India First remains this terror strike in Jammu and Kashmir, where 5 soldiers were killed in action in a terror strike along the Jammu, Poonch, Rajouri highway. These terrorists struck near Bhimber Gali, and this is a highly militarized area. There are several military formations that are deployed along the Jammu-Poonch Rajouri highway. Now, some of these areas are not very far from the line of control. But then the army always says that there is a multi-tier security grid in place. In fact, in some places there are 3 tiers, in some places there are 4. The terrorists hurled some kind of an incendiary explosive device at this military truck and opened fire first at the driver and then at the occupants of the truck. And then the terrorists fled. 5 Jawans of a Rashtriya Rifles battalion deployed in the area were killed in this terror strike. The Raksha Mantri, Rajnath Singh, he's been briefed by the army chief. The information that we have is that counter-terror operations will be intensified south of Pir Panjal. The question remains, when military trucks move, when convoys move, there is always a road opening party in place. The effort is to dominate higher ground. When longer convoys move or when bigger convoys move, there are hideouts or highway domination teams. But there is still lack of clarity on the movement of this lone military vehicle with Jawans. Some suggest this was a local movement from one formation to the other, and this truck was bringing in unit rations when it was targeted by terrorists who were on higher ground. They fired at the truck and then melted away. The terrorists, we are told, hurled grenades, some incendiary material, and then opened fire. 1 Jawan was rushed to office. The army has mounted operations to nab terrorists. Now, when you look at that truck, you can also see that there are civilian vehicles that came, and the civilians have also given the army some information about firing that came from higher ground at this military truck. A lot of reactions coming in. Let's quickly listen in before I get you more on the story.
Blood of our brave hearts will not go in vain. Their martyrdom will not go in vain. And all these culprits, these terrorists will be neutralized. They have to face the serious consequences, the sin they committed. For that they will be punished.
Now that this incident has taken place, I am very certain the army and the paramilitary forces and the JK police know what to do. The entire area must have been cordoned off. Huge amount of search operation would have been already launched, and I am very certain that they will not be allowed to exfiltrate. And sooner than later, within the next 24 hours or 48 hours, they will be taken to task and the terrorists will be eliminated.
But are these terrorists trying to exfiltrate, as in go back to Pakistan-occupied Kashmir, or are they going in deeper and will try and get to Kashmir? The question that also remains is whether there was a road opening party in place. Were terrorists monitoring movement of military vehicles? Was it standard for a lone vehicle to move in this area, or were standard operating procedures not followed? I want to quickly bring in our guests and our reporters on ground. I have SP Vaid, former Director General of Jammu and Kashmir Police, joining me. Shiv Arur joins me on the broadcast, and Shiv has reported very extensively from Ground Zero. But my first question is to India Today's Sunil Ji Bhatt, who joins us live from Jammu and Kashmir. Sunil Ji, what more information do we have about the terror strike and counter-terror operations, if any?
Well, Gaurav, Jammu and Kashmir is witnessing heavy rainfall for last couple of days, and today also it rained a lot in the evening. So it's going to create a lot of problems for the security forces as far as the search operation is concerned, as well as this anti-terror operation is concerned. Remember, Gaurav, this is the same area and same spot where a fierce encounter broke out way back in 2021 October, and that, search operation lasted for many weeks.
Yes.
The terrorists managed to give a slip to the security forces, and after many weeks, the operation was called off. The terrain also remains a big challenge for the security forces, given the fact that this area is surrounded by tall mountains and dense forests. So, Gaurav, it's going to take, many days as far as this entire operation is concerned. But it's a tragic bit of news that has come in. 5 of our brave hearts have made the supreme sacrifice of their lives, and this army vehicle was ambushed from 3 sides. That's what our sources are saying, that from 3 sides this vehicle was ambushed, and it's clear that these terrorists had prior information about the movement of this truck. So an investigation will be carried out whether there were any lapses locally on part of the security forces, but that's a different matter. But right now the priority is to neutralize these terrorists who carried out this attack, and these terrorists would not have been able to carry out this attack without the help of locals.
Yes, and the fact remains, twice in the past, terrorists have succeeded in striking and melting into these forests, and the army wasn't successful in nabbing them. Shiv, there were also intelligence inputs this time about military installations being targeted, about military convoys being targeted, given the fact that this is the G20 summit here. India is the president of G20. A hostile Pakistan would want to embarrass India, and the fact that Pakistan's foreign minister Bilawal Bhutto Zardari is coming for the Shanghai Cooperation Organization foreign ministers meet in May. What have you been able to gather from your sources, Shiv?
A very, very worrying episode. 5 soldiers killed, and this isn't the first attack on an army convoy this year, Gaurav, as you know. The Bhimber Gali area, on the Poonch highway is already an extremely restive zone. And if you look at the pictures that we have, this is a hilly terrain. There is an elevation just off the road, heavily wooded area. It was raining there. It was, heavily overcast as well. So lots of hiding places. We do know that there was apparently a road opening party. The protocol was being followed, but there may have been some lapses which will only emerge once the investigation is conducted. 5 soldiers lost their lives in this. It appears to be some kind of incendiary explosive used, probably a grenade of some kind, which is something that the army, has pointed to in its statement. But most certainly a terrorist attack. Now, how many terrorists there were, where they were located, where they've gone. Remember, this area is not very far from the line of control. Were there local elements? Did they come in from the other side? How does this line up with the intelligence input that had been provided by the J&K police to the army a few days ago about, possible attempts to increase levels of violence ahead of the, the big G20 meet in Srinagar in May this year. All of these coming together add up to an extremely troubling episode, Gaurav. Attacks on convoys have happened many times in the past, both in the Kashmir, in Jammu and Kashmir, as well as in the northeast. The Indian Army knows all too well the vulnerabilities that convoys and trucks especially have, especially in these areas. And remember, terrorist elements in these areas know the lay of the land extremely well. They have spent hours, years, studying the movement and the logistics of army and paramilitary convoys. And that's the reason why when they set out to, hit or strike some of these convoys, more often than not, they are successful. So you can have all the protocol in the world, drones in some cases as well, to
Yes.
sanitize areas of this kind. But at the end of the day, sometimes terrorists are able to make that hit. Like I said, we'll have to wait till an investigation completely unearths whether there were more lapses than these.
Okay, Shiv, for the moment, many thanks for joining me. I also want to bring into this conversation SP Vaid, former Director General of the Jammu and Kashmir Police. Sir, you know the lay of this land very well. You've been posted to some of these areas. But what I want to understand from you, sir, the information is terrorists opened fire from 3 sides. The terrorists are learned to have fired more than 50 rounds. Was this a lone truck? And if it was, then was this not a major lapse on the part of the army if there was no immediate retaliatory strike on terrorists firing at a military vehicle from 3 sides, sir?
Gaurav, you're absolutely right. There were intelligence inputs about possible major strike in the run-up to the G20 meeting in Kashmir. And already, Pakistan is pissed off. We all know it. It's going around all over the world talking about it, garnering support, though it's isolated nation in the world today. But yes, it has China on its side. China also, if you recall, when Honorable Home Minister visited Arunachal Pradesh, how China named some villages from its side. Both these nations did object to meeting in Kashmir, and it was expected. I was expecting some major strike in the days to come, and unfortunately it has happened. My tribute to the martyrs, and my heart goes to the family.
Sir, but the question remains, if terrorists can come from somewhere else and dominate, the army is deployed there. We've been there for more than 70 years. We know the lay of the land better, and we should be able to hit back immediately and hit back for effect. The terrorists were able to do that in 2021, target the security forces and melt away, and till date nobody has been caught.
Absolutely, Gaurav. You see, there is definitely SOP violation has taken place. I don't think SOP has been followed. There was no point, even if it was a short distance, as is being said, that it was a administrative
local administrative move for rations.
This should not have been allowed, particularly when you know what happened only a year back in October 2021, and that group was not apprehended or neutralized. You had a terror attack in Rajouri. That group is still out. And so this place is so near to the LOC.
Yes.
It is a thick forested area. Absolutely, there's no justification of allowing one vehicle to go. That's why you are not able to retaliate. And initially, everyone thought there's a lightning has happened and vehicle caught the fire, because weather is very bad today. I am here in Jammu. But look at it's a classical terror ambush attack on the vehicle, and they had information probably that a lone vehicle is coming up. That's why they struck this particular vehicle. And when grenade hits the fuel tank, fuel tank punctures, it catches fire, and something like that has happened. And I'm told the steel coated bullets have been used, which I saw way back in first time used in 2017 in Pulwama police line.
Terror strike. You're absolutely right, sir.
Attack. So it has been properly planned, racked, and then executed. And this area is thickly forested.
In my own country, what's absolutely horrifying, Mr. Vaid, is that in my own country, I can get ambushed and the terrorists can get away with it. That is shocking, given the fact that this is an area where it was by and large said that terrorists had been sorted out. Terrorism was restricted just to a few pockets, a few districts in South Kashmir and the route from North Kashmir. But once again, it appears that terrorists are back south of Pir Panjal, and the army or the security apparatus is slow to hit back.
I completely agree with you, Gaurav. If you see the trend of last 2 years, after abrogation of Article 370, Kashmir is showing signs of improvement, and particularly Jammu region is being targeted in last 2 years. And look at the attacks, repeated attacks happening. October 2021. We had 9 casualties of the army, which is a big
Yes.
setback. And today, 5, and sixth one is struggling. We didn't have much successes in Rajouri Poonch. I think we need to look into within something is amiss, and Pakistan deep state is able to disturb this particular region of Rajouri Poonch very badly, and Jammu region as a whole in general. So we need to be very, very careful. Now, my another request would be that today only the announcement was made by Pakistan that their foreign minister, Mr. Bilawal Bhutto, will be coming here.
Yes.
I think we should not welcome foreign minister of such a country, which is so openly using cross-border terrorism against our nation. I think a clear message must go.
Okay. Maybe, since that's a multilateral forum of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, continue talking at the multilateral level, but make Pakistan bleed more, like in Balakot. Is that the template that needs to be followed? We'll track that story very closely. But for joining me here, Mr. Ved, as always, sir, many thanks. Let me now get you the latest in Don Atiq's murder investigation. The special investigation team recreated the crime scene using dummies at Prayagraj's Motilal Nehru Medical College or the Calvin Hospital, where gangsters Atiq Ahmed and his brother Ashraf were shot dead while being taken for a routine medical examination. The 5-member forensic team was also at the spot conducting forensic tests. They've been carrying out ballistic tests. The SIT is carrying out a parallel investigation to find out the lapses in the role of the Uttar Pradesh police. Our Uttar Pradesh Bureau gets us more.
The real crime versus the recreation. 5 days after the shooting of Atiq Ahmed and his brother Ashraf, the UP police attempted to recreate the whole 22-second sequence where 3 shooters fired 18 bullets at Atiq and Ashraf. Body doubles for Atiq and Ashraf were brought in. A sea of security was deployed along with a forensic team. All preparations were made to make the crime scene look as authentic as possible. And finally, 3 men posing as shooters were brought in. The Atiq Ashraf body doubles then pretend to speak to the media. Suddenly from the left, images we're so familiar with now, a man emerges and shoots the Atiq dummy in the head. Atiq and Ashraf's body doubles fall to the ground, and as the shooters attack, they then surrender. The exact way the shooters surrendered, the angle from which they shot, their bike on the ground, every moment of the Atiq shooting recreated to the T.
You can see in the visuals that what has happened, the scene has been recreated exactly like what it happened that night. You can see that these 3 people imposing as, the gangsters are shooting. The police will now gun them down. The police will now take them down as exactly it happened that night.
Sources have told India today that the police are likely to conduct a narco test of the attackers after permission from the court, even as their questioning continues by the police. Sources tell India today that the shooters wanted to carry out the attack a day before, on April the 14th, but chickened out after seeing massive police arrangements. Sunny Singh, who's been linked to the Surinder Bhati gang, reportedly is the mastermind of the shooting. The assailants are being interrogated about the motive behind the shooting of Atiq and his brother. how they got their hands on weapons that cost 7 lakh rupees each. They're also being grilled on how they knew Atiq's location and also why they raised Jai Shri Ram slogans. Finally, the police have asked the shooters why they didn't carry their mobile phones with them when they carried out the attack. With Simar Chawla in Prayagraj, UP, Bureau Report, India Today.
And the Atiq Ahmed, Ashraf Ahmed killing has now escalated into a massive political slugfest. Instances by different political parties and leaders praising Atiq Ahmed at one point of time or the other has led to a massive controversy. The Bharatiya Janata Party has hit out at Congress Party Member of Parliament Imran Pratap Gali for saying that he is a Don's close friend and questioned why he had been roped in for the Congress Party's Karnataka campaign. So this is also now an issue in Karnataka elections, or is it? We bring you this report.
हमारे छोटे भाई कहिए या हमारे दिल की धड़कन कहिए, हमारा भाई इमरान प्रताप गढ़ी वकील साहब।
This bonhomie between its Rajya Sabha MP Imran Pratap Gali and slain mafia don Atiq Ahmed is haunting Congress, casting a shadow on the Karnataka Congress campaign ahead of elections in the state. Imran Pratap Gali figures in the Congress star campaigners list for Karnataka. Years ago, he was caught singing lavish praises for the dreaded mafia don. Atiq in return had described the Congress MP as his younger brother in this video now tweeted by the BJP.
हमारे छोटे भाई कहिए या हमारे दिल की धड़कन कहिए, हमारा भाई इमरान प्रताप गढ़ी वकील साहब।
The BJP saw red over what it called Congress nexus with the once dreaded gangster behind murders, kidnapping and land grab cases.
उत्तर प्रदेश में गैंगस्टर के साथ थे, गैंगस्टर का फ्रेंड है, गैंगस्टर आतिक अहमद, अशरफ अहमद का वो गुरु मानते थे। ऐसा इमरान प्रताप गढ़ी आपको कर्नाटका इलेक्शन का स्टार कैंपेन का लिस्ट में कांग्रेस रखा है।
कांग्रेस पार्टी के इस चरित्र के विषय में कि जो लोग हिंदुस्तान के खिलाफ बोलते हैं उनको प्रमोट करना, उनको राजनीति में आगे रखना, उनको स्टार प्रचारक बनाना, ये तो कांग्रेस समय-समय पर करती रही है।
The Congress, however, defended Imran Pratap Ghadi's ties with gangster Atiq.
Imran Pratap Gali is the chairman of our minority cell and he will be coming. What is wrong in that? We are not saying that someone who is coming, who is under that, who had committed some crime, who is behind the bars, we are not doing that.
Earlier, a Congress leader from Uttar Pradesh's Prayagraj had laid tricolour on grave of Atiq Ahmed and had sought posthumous Bharat Ratna for the slain gangster, calling him a martyr. He was suspended by the Congress after his video went viral and caused massive backlash.
अतीक अहमद का जिस तरह से योगी सरकार ने मर्डर कराया, योगी जी को इस्तीफा देना चाहिए और मैं ये मांग करता हूं कि अतीक अहमद को भारत रत्न दिया जाए।
Will netas go to any extent just for votes? Bureau Report, India Today.
Some of this does look like the theatre of the absurd, but that's exactly what it is, with some even wanting Shaista Parveen, the absconding wife of Atiq Ahmed, to be treated as a freedom fighter. That is all I have for you on India First this evening. Many thanks for watching. Business Today up next with Sakshi Batra. Stay with us.
Bullets flew, our cameras rolled. Inches away from point-blank killing. 2023's biggest crime story plays out live.
Immediately shot all Atiq as well as Ashraf, and on the spot.
Just that short, dramatic sequence got on camera by India Today's crew right there in Prayagraj.
The bloody end of gangster Atiq Ahmed. Up close